They thought they could run a pipeline through my land without asking. But when their fancy faucets started spitting out rusty dust instead of water on a scorching August morning, they realized they'd messed with the wrong man. It wasn't a glitch. It was my valve. And I shut it off. It all started with a rumble underground. The summer heat was brutal. Cattle crowded near the riverbanks. And one morning, my foreman Cody came up to me with a puzzled look.
Boss, you know someone's digging near the ravine?
I jumped off the tractor, brushed the dust off my jeans, and drove over to the far east side of the property. I've got close to 1,000 acres, and I don't see everything every day. But when we got there, I damn near fell out of my truck. A trench, freshly dug, dozens of feet long, and inside it thick industrial-grade PVC pipe. HOA Project 14B. I knew exactly who was behind this. Karen. Karen Peterson, queen of the HOA, self-appointed empress of the nearby suburban enclave. She had the posture of royalty, the voice of a boiling kettle, and a God-given mission to control everything within a 5-mile radius. We'd clashed before. She once tried to get me to update my fence to match the community aesthetic. I let it slide, figured she'd get bored. But this was invasion. I called my lawyer that afternoon.
They have no right. Even if it was a municipal line, they'd need an easement. But a private HOA, they've got nothing.
The next day I got served by Karen. She was suing me for obstructing infrastructure critical to community development. They ran a pipeline through my land without permission, and now they were suing me for getting in the way. The court date was set for a month later. I wasn't going to wait. I started digging, not literally, investigating. I needed to know where that pipe went and what it was for. Turns out, Karen and her HOA had made a deal with a private spring up in the mountains. They didn't want to rely on city water, too expensive. So they paid a private company to pipe in water directly. Cheaper, cleaner, independent, and they chose the fastest route, straight through my land. I loaded up the truck and drove with Cody into the foothills. It took 2 days of bad maps and worse roads, but we finally found it. A small spring with a reinforced concrete vault, nestled between pine trees, tucked behind an old fence. A weathered sign read, "Property of Mountain Spring Holdings." I called Joe right then and there.
Find out who owns this land, and don't stop until you get me a number.
A week later, I was sitting in a quiet diner with an old man named Martin, who'd owned that spring for 30+ years. He was moving to Texas to be closer to his grandkids. We shook hands over pie and coffee. And just like that, I became the owner of the HOA's precious water source. 3 days later, I shut it off. Just a simple twist of the main valve. The panic spread instantly. No water in their luxury homes. None for their lawns, their jacuzzis, or their overpriced iced lattes. Karen called me first. Her voice was cold, shaking with rage.
This is sabotage. You can't do this.
I own the source, and the pipe runs through my land. Guess who's in control now?
We'll sue you.
Good luck. In the meantime, you might want to buy a bucket. A week passed. Residents started complaining on Facebook, then next door. HOA held an emergency meeting. I didn't go easy. $10,000 month for land use. $5,000 month maintenance fee for the spring. A public apology and written admission of unauthorized trespassing. Full restoration of every inch of disturbed land on my ranch. They tried to haggle. I didn't budge. Another week of dry faucets went by before Karen showed up at my front gate with a lawyer and a cheap bottle of red wine. She didn't smile.
We agree to your terms.
Great. That'll be another $2,500 for the late fee. Today, I make more money from the HOA than I do from cattle. Karen's no longer the HOA president.